Sudhanshu Mittal. Mr. Mittal, India is officially a secular country where religion and politics are separate. Is it then fitting for the head of the Gorakhpur Mutt to be appointed Chief Minister of UP? Doesn't this amount to undermining India's constitutional secularism?
Currently, India is secular in the context of theocracy. We are not a theocratic state. But India is not anti-religion. We are religion neutral. So to say this is against the constitutional scheme of things is very inappropriate. Let me tell you one thing. There is no distinction between being elected or being appointed in the assembly or in the parliament, or being a chief minister or prime minister. There are no separate disqualifications. When heads of other religious institutions like Maulanas or priests can become member parliament or can become MLAs, to say that the head of a mutt of Gorakhpur should not have become a MP or should not have been appointed a chief minister, I think is a very partisan view in terms of the secularity which is there defined in the constitution. Okay. And as I said, Sarvdham Sadbhavna. We have Sadbhavna for all religions. Okay. That is the spirit of secularism and not beyond. It is not entire religion. In fact, religion is an integral part of the Indian constitutional ethos.
Okay, I take your point. Let me bring in someone else.
Constitution, if you look at the original.
I take your point. I take your point, Mr. Mittal. Let me bring in someone else.
Look at the word of
Ashok Malik. I'm coming to you. Let me put it like this. I've heard the answer Sudhanshu Mittal gave me, but there's a real feeling you get that when the head priest of the Gorakhpur Mutt becomes Chief Minister of UP, it's a bit like Ayatollahs in Iran who run the country. The difference is that Iran is a Muslim country and this is clearly presumably acceptable there. India is a secular country and it tends to feel wrong when the head of a religious mutt becomes the chief executive of a state.
Currently, what's our case? Do we have belief in democracy or we don't have belief in democracy? All these things, all these statements, in fact, Sharad Pradhanji was just talking his viciousness about Modi, about BJP, about everybody was there in the last 3 months of the campaign. And yet, people chose to think otherwise. Should we not bow our heads to the people's mandate and accept that people have rejected all these things and have reposed their faith in good governance of BJP
and Yogi Adityanath Chief Minister?
So
Mr. Modi and Mr. Amit Shah did. He's not even an MLA.
Contradiction between the aspirations.
But how does the vote in UP, where he wasn't even a candidate for the elections, reflect the desire to make him Chief Minister? He's been imposed by Mr. Shah and Mr. Modi.
Karanji, when you say he has been imposed by Mr. Shah and Modi, I just heard Sharadji saying the BJP also did not accept it. I think it is preposterous. I know my party better than either you or Mr. Sharad Pradhan also. And the party whole assembly has accepted him as the chief minister. Okay. But that's not the point. Point is, in democracy, there is what the constitution lays down as how you will become a chief minister, who will become the chief minister. That has been followed.
Mr. Mittal,
now
I'm not questioning how, I'm questioning the appropriateness of who. You're not answering my question. I pointed out that a man who has these vicious comments, horrifying comments to make about Muslims is not an appropriate choice to be chief minister of a state with a 19% Muslim population. You refuse to answer that question. That's the question I'm putting to you.
No, sir, he is a very, very appropriate choice because he has an aura of respect. He has integrity with him. He is a man who has got an unblemished record in terms of his integrity, in terms of his governance, in terms of everything.
Okay.
So calling him an inappropriate choice because of a certain religious bias is not a fair comment.
Bias.
And
it's
I don't think in democracy
which you refuse
this
to
is
recognize,
the right approach.
but they are there
if
for the
people
world,
given
and they've heard them and seen them many times. It's not bias, it's his own spoken words.
Define the people's verdict.
The inappropriateness stems from his own repeatedly spoken words. But let me bring in Ashok Malik.
Judge him on his governance.
Ashok Malik,
no.
I'm bringing in Ashok Malik now, sir. I think it's only fair someone else should speak.
Contrary to what is expected
Ashok Malik argues the same argument as you. Let me bring him in. He's not.
Karanji, this is a very profound advice which will be given to every chief minister by any right-thinking person. I just want to draw your attention to this news item which appeared today. BSP leader shot dead, who was a Muslim. BHP, HP men amongst 4 booked. Now this would have been unthinkable in the regime of the previous 2 regimes where any of their men would have been booked. This is a new order. Irrespective of who does a crime is a crime and will be dealt with severely. See, till date, UP has seen a lawless state. A state which has always distinguished people on the basis of their caste and their religion. We are committed to justice for all, appeasement to none.
Okay.
So the state shall not discriminate or distinguish on the basis of religion or caste. And this is the proof of the pudding.
Good. I'm glad you're holding it up. I think it's an important point to make. One test of a leader is that he's prepared to take harsh action against his own people, particularly those who are his supporters. If that story and that headline is true, and I assume it is a good start. I'm going to take a break at that point, and when I come back, I'm going to ask, how will the yogi face up to the critical tests he will now have to confront as Chief Minister of UP? And I can think of 2 that are going to be potentially inflammatory. The Ram Mandir issue, as well as the handling of those accused of murdering Muhammad the clerk, many of whom are amongst the yogi's closest supporters. They look upon him as the savior. Will he seek to save them, or will he refuse to interfere? We're going to come back and tackle how the yogi will behave now that he has actually become Chief Minister, and what sort of test will that be. See you in a moment's time.
Karanji, Ram Temple's issue is very clear. It's either through a judicial order or through negotiation or through legislation. Beyond the 3, there is no other scope. And as somebody who will follow the law of land, this is what is going to happen. As far as Muhammad Akhlaq's case is concerned, again, the law shall take its own course. But let me tell you one more thing here. There is a court order in Akhlaq's case which has not been implemented by the SP government. When he implements that order, then the hue and cry which will be raised, I am just trying to see what will happen then.
So forgive me, sir. You're talking about the case against his family members against the allegation of killing a cow, and I believe I'm correct in saying it's been stayed. Its implementation has been stayed. Check it out. I think I'm right on that. But I won't quarrel with you. I'm pretty sure I'm right. Very quickly, I'm going to come to you, Priyanka. We're talking about the yogi. We're talking about his potential to behave differently to his past.
One more, Karanji.
Yes.
Karanji, just one more thing. Let me add. The illegal slaughterhouses were not closed down in spite of a court order by the NGT. They have got closed. So the court orders which were not being implemented shall be implemented.
Absolutely.
And I hope
but you're talking
they
about
are not looked at as criminal orders.
And your party manifesto is committed to shutting down slaughterhouses, so people expect you to do that. But let me bring in Priyanka Chaturvedi. Priyanka Chaturvedi, we're talking about...
No, absolutely not. For all, we have been maintaining this ever since his name was announced, that we will judge him on the basis of what he is speaking and his actions. And ever since he has been sworn in as a chief minister, while he is saying the right things, I would also like to go back to the statement that you reminded Mr. Mittal of, where Mr. Amit Shah has said, for us, Kabristan and Shamshan is a development issue, not a communal issue. So you may change sides, but if you're speaking the same language that you were speaking before the elections happened and before he was appointed as the chief minister, it is going to be a tough task for people to be convinced that he is the popular person, and the mandate that the BJP has been given is for Yogi Adityanath's popularity and not because on the basis of what
I fully endorse that point, that it will be a tough task for the Yogi to convince people that he is different. So clear, so well demarcated, so often repeated is his image as a result of what he has himself been saying, that to change from that will not be an easy task. But it is the challenge he faces, and if he wants to succeed, he has to change, and probably no one knows that better than the Yogi himself. My thanks to all my guests for joining me, and if you have been, thanks for watching. Goodbye. Good night.